all season long, the Eagles have been a team that thrives off of individual efforts. Now, that makes things hard for them sometimes, but when it works, it makes for superheroes. Eagles win 4-1 over the Bakersfield Condors in Game 2. This evens the series at 1 and basically gives the Eagles new life in the series, and for most Eagles fans it should be no surprise that it was Ago3ino that is the superhero for this one. The game actually started out quite tentatively and looked like it wasn't going to have much pace. Both teams were fumbling the puck in the first couple minutes and they were kind of just icing the puck back and forth. That leads to an offensive zone face-off for the Eagles, and we'll get to Ago3ino's superpowers in a minute, but first, every good superhero needs a sidekick. And for this game, that duty fell to Julian Nantel. Credit Cody Bast to win this faceoff with a second effort, getting his foot in here and kicking this puck over to Nantel, who picks it up inside of the Condors defenseman, and a very nice shot to slip this one through Starrett and in. Nothing too crazy about that goal, but that's a big goal for Nantel. He's had a bit of a rough season when it comes to production. In fact, he was even sent down to the ECHL for a while because of it. He scored just a single goal in 45 AHL regular season games this year, so to get one in the playoffs, that's just huge for the Eagles. And I know it worked out here, which is great, but in the future, in the offensive zone, maybe don't start Bass and Nantel. They have a combined total of 10 points in the regular season in the AHL, so yeah, I don't think that's going to be working again anytime soon. But hey, it worked here, so the Eagles have a 1-0 lead early, and that goal completely changed the complexion of this game. From there on out, the Eagles were just the better team in the first period, straight up. They were controlling play, they were pushing pace, they were getting better opportunities and getting multiple opportunities by recovering the puck in the offensive zone. It was just good hockey, except for one thing. They were not shooting well. In golf, they call it playing really well, tee to green, but they just can't finish. They had crazy amounts of opportunities, and even so, they were missing so many of them that they ended up getting outshot 12-8 in the period, despite, again, clearly looking like the better team. They had a shot that hit the post, and the ones that did go on net, they seemed to shoot right into the breadbasket of Starrett. They couldn't find the sweet spot. And now we need to talk about one of the problems the Eagles faced: their own power play. In the regular season, they were the worst team in the AHL with a power play running at 13.8%. That's nearly a full 4% behind the league average of 17.6. During the regular season, everything about the power play was just brutal. The system was horrendously stagnant, and the Eagles suffered from taking far too many low-quality chances. Beyond this, it also suffered from some, we'll call them interesting personnel decisions. Look, Mark Alt is a fine defender and a good captain for this AHL team, but he's just not a player you should have quarterbacking your power play. You just shouldn't. While individual efforts can work on the power play, to have a consistently good one, it takes quality team play, and a lot of the time the Eagles lack that. In this game, the Eagles got 7 power play opportunities. 2 of them were shortened, one because the Eagles were on a penalty kill and then got a bit of one after that because the Condors took a penalty on their power play, and another the other way around. So one of those is the Eagles' fault, so that's a bad power play. The other 5, 3 of them looked legitimately dangerous, which I was happy with. That's a bit more effective than they usually seem to be in the regular season, but the other 2 were kind of their bad usual selves. So it was a bit of a mixed bag on the power play for the Eagles, but that's something that we need to continue to watch, as it's likely to have a big effect through the rest of this series. The 2 power plays they got in the first period were 2 of their better ones, but once again, no finish. So the Eagles play what is their best period of the series so far in the first and take a 1-0 lead into intermission. The second period very quickly presents us with the Eagles' other problem. They take too many penalties. Eagles had 7 power play opportunities in this game, but they also gave the Condors 7 power play opportunities. You cannot expect to win when you give the other team that many chances. The good news is this isn't a special teams issue. The Eagles' PK is quite good, 6th best in the league during the regular season. This is a discipline issue. The Eagles just have to stay out of the box. Or maybe, and this is going to sound crazy, but maybe they don't. Because, as it turns out, one of Ago3ino's superpowers is generating offense on the penalty kill. Him and Logan O'Connor have been absolutely on fire during the penalty kill in the regular season, and that seems to keep up here in the playoffs as well. The Eagles take 3 penalties in the first 10 minutes of the second period, but not only do they kill them all off, Ago3ino gets a very good opportunity on all 3 of them. The first one he can't beat Starrett, the second one he hits the iron, and then finally, during the 3rd penalty kill, he gets a 2-on-1 rush and finds the twine. This is all individual effort and a bit of luck here. A shot goes errant for the Condors, and you're going to see Marody lose an edge in the corner here, allowing the puck to come up the boards. Ago3ino immediately jumps on this and takes it up the ice. Logan O'Connor recognizes what's happening and jumps in down the center, creating a 2-on-1 situation. Ago3ino was never passing this one. He wanted that shot all the way, and he rifles it up over the blocker to beat Starrett clean. I honestly don't know how the Eagles keep doing this, and I will be shocked if next year's shorthanded goal totals come anywhere close to this year's, but hey, as long as they're doing it, ride it. Eagles go up 2-0, and we're halfway through the game. In the back 10 of the second period, I do think the Eagles left their foot off the gas a little bit. They had an opportunity to really bury the Condors and didn't. However, it was still fairly evenly matched through the rest of the period. And it was a fairly slow pace in that time, shots being just 8-7 at the end of the second. And at the very end of the period, the Eagles do get goaded into a penalty, so the Condors start the 3rd on the power play. The Condors unfortunately would score early in the 3rd. On the stat sheet, this isn't a power play goal, but in reality, it pretty much was. The penalty kill is just ending now for the Eagles, but the Condors have been set up in the zone for quite a while now, and the Killers are a bit tired. A nice quick little passing play here sets up a good opportunity as the Condors cycle it, get a seam pass through. A bit of contact there by Greer, but he can't recover this as it gets dropped back to Bear at the point, who winds up and gets ready to unload one as a ton of traffic comes through into the slot here. It looks like Francouz not only doesn't see this one, but the puck ends up getting tipped by Russell, so just no chance there. I mean, when you give a team enough chances, even the best PK in the league is going to struggle. Again, the Eagles with the worst power play in the league still scored in about 1 in 8 chances. So the cushion is gone right at the start of the 3rd, and the rest of the period is set up to be a scrap. And you know what? I gotta hand it to the Eagles. They played this period really well. I was pretty suspicious of them having the defensive ability to hold on to a 1-goal lead here, but other than 1 or 2 off shifts, they very consistently did a great job of holding off the Condors, getting the puck, and getting it out of their zone to safety. It was a touch passive for my liking, but nowhere near the full-on turtle that we see sometimes. It was really great work, and it clearly frustrated the Condors too, as after we get halfway through the 3rd, they end up getting dinged for a penalty. And while this power play didn't look that great as a unit, Ago3ino once again just activates superhero mode. Warsofsky and Ago3ino are resetting here after the Condors have cleared a puck. Warsofsky just chips this puck to Ago3ino in the neutral zone, who has a good head of steam here and just makes a disgusting move on Bear before sniping on Starrett as well. In a lot of ways, Ago3ino is to the Eagles as McKinnon is to the Avs. They're not super similar in the way they play, but in importance to their team. The Eagles need Ago3ino to step up and take over games for them like he does here sometimes. They just do. And when he does, guess what? The Eagles usually win. After that, the Condors pretty much raise the white flag by taking 2 more penalties through the last bit of the 3rd, and it is basically all locked up. Ago3ino ends up taking a penalty actually with a bit more than 2 minutes left in the game, and maybe maybe he knew something I didn't, because that penalty ends with about 20 seconds left. He comes out of the box, he gets himself a puck, and he dumps it into the empty net to complete the hat trick. The Eagles win 4-1, and we got ourselves a series heading to Bakersfield. This was a great game for the Eagles. They played 2 very, very strong periods, and 1 not so great period that they got away with. Their best scorer carried them to this victory, and that's exactly what they needed. But going forward, they're going to need more from everybody else not named Andrew Ago3ino. We saw some of the usual suspects in Game 1, Greer, Toninato, Malash, Alt, and we got a nice depth goal from Nantel here in this game, but guys like Jolie, O'Connor, Kaut, Kosmachuk, those are the guys that really need to get on the board here if the Eagles want a chance to take this series. I would also love to see the Eagles get some of their younger guys with a bit more scoring ability back in the lineup. Ty Lewis, Kevin Davis, even Travis Barron, I think could help this team. I'm not sure why the Eagles have decided to shun some of their young prospects, and I don't think it's helping them either. Either way, the Eagles have guaranteed at least a Game 4 here, so you'll take it. That is the end of this AHL playoff game video review. Thank you for watching. As always, a very special thank you to all of my contributors on both PayPal and Patreon. You help make AHL content like this possible, and if you really like content like this, consider throwing a couple of bucks my way at the links down in the description of the video. I'm Ago3ino, and the more playoff hockey, the better.